Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got some good news for you, which is that the original Verdansk is returning to Warzone, and Warzone is rolling back a great number of features to make it more like Warzone 1, which is really exciting for me. And because of that, all of the gameplay that you see around me today is from the original Verdansk. We might have a little bit of Verdansk x Black Ops Cold War when that integration rolled out, and at about the 4-minute mark, if y'all are still here then, I actually shoot an RPG out of the air as it comes out of the end of this guy's barrel and managed to blow him up. It was one of my favorite moments in all of the original Warzone, so keep an eye out for that one. And the first and most important fact is that yes, Verdansk is returning to Warzone. This has been confirmed by Activision and Call of Duty, and their timeline is sometime in spring 2025. Not a lot of clarity on that one. And my assumption is that it will be the launch of Season 3 and probably somewhere around March 20th. So we do know that Season 3 is supposed to launch March 20th. Typically, the Battle Pass rolls out on that same day. Sometimes we get a Warzone update, and sometimes it might come even later in the season as a mid-season update sometime in April or perhaps early May, but it's coming soon. We do know that. And briefly, my opinion on this is extremely positive. I'll talk a little bit more about it in the back half of the video, but Verdansk was one of the most fun times for me in all of about 20 years of playing Call of Duty. I still love Blackout. Blackout's still my favorite Call of Duty Battle Royale, and I think it's superior in some ways to Warzone, but Warzone 1 and Verdansk added a lot of polish and maintained a lot of features and fun that were present in the original Blackout, much better armor system too, and I feel like the original Verdansk and Warzone 1 launch was this perfect balance between kind of realism and challenge and fun, and I absolutely loved streaming it for all of you. I streamed it 4 hours a night for a reason. I also found Warzone 1 to be a little bit more approachable than current Warzone. A lot of that has to do with the movement, and also the maps felt more grounded somehow, or at least a little bit less cluttered. But the rest of this video is pure conjecture because Activision hasn't confirmed any of these details, but leaks are rolling out from reliable sources, and one of those leaks indicates that Stadium will not be open at launch, which is fine by me because the Stadium wasn't open for the launch of the original map anyway, and the rumor to the rumor is that they'll be opening it up for various sporting events or just whatever events happen throughout the season. It's also rumored that fast travel train stations will not be functioning at launch but may come back later, and I think that's fine because this is a feature that not that many people used or understood anyway. It wasn't a bad one to have, it just wasn't one that really got a lot of use. But supposedly they did keep the regular choo-choo train that goes around the map, which is one of my absolute favorite places to land. I love landing on the train and fighting over the loot. And the broader aspect of the map rumors is that the map is going to be about 95% the same, and about 5% of it will be slightly different, some for technical reasons, some for aesthetic reasons, some they're probably setting up teasers for other seasons and stuff. But the rumor is that it's supposed to be very much so like the original Verdansk, and I'm totally okay with this. And I kind of think that we don't actually need a full Verdansk remaster. I'm okay with it being a little bit different, but I think we may be getting a gameplay remaster, which is exciting. Features from the original Verdansk are rumored to return, and Activision is supposedly kind of rolling back to closer to original like Warzone 1 mechanics, because it seems players are currently unhappy with the offerings available in Warzone right now with Omni movement and other things. And I'm genuinely hoping the original movement mechanics return. I'll be happy to dump Omni movement, and even the wild sort of advanced sliding and very generous climbing from Warzone 2 when it launched in Modern Warfare 2 was also a little bit much for me. I kind of preferred the slightly slower, slightly more grounded, realistic movements of Warzone 1, and this is an opinion that we will again touch on a little bit later in the video, but I think that the overall pace of the gameplay in the original Warzone is superior to Warzone 2. And at this point in the video, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Logitech G. If you're a console gamer, I would highly encourage you to check out the brand new Astro A50 Gen 5 base station, which lets you, yeah, we can see the pictures on the back here. This lets you connect to multiple consoles at once and your PC and run all of the information right through your headset. You can hook up your mobile phone on Bluetooth too. Great product. I'm basically using the wired version right now. If you're interested, Code Drifter will save you 10% off from the link down there below. But let's turn to a specific feature that I'm excited to see returning, which is floating loot. You may remember in the original Warzone, your loot just kind of floated magically in a little pile. It just kind of sploot out of you like you were a GTA NPC or something like that. And this is actually kind of a huge one for me because I don't really like the backpack system very much. I didn't even like the backpack system in Blackout. I think the floating loot is superior because you can immediately see what you need and grab it quickly. And I will admit that there's an argument to be made that dealing with the backpacks is kind of a skill in and of itself, like dealing with the death boxes in Apex Legends. But for Call of Duty, I don't really agree with that. I feel that for Call of Duty, it's more of an annoyance. I think that Call of Duty will operate much better on a sort of grab and go logic when it comes to looting people and dead bodies. I like being fast in Call of Duty, and I like knowing what I'm looking for and not necessarily having to dig around in the trash. Just think about how many gunfights you've had in Warzone 2 where you've killed some people and you're like, okay, now let me dive face first into their bag and see what's going on. Whereas in Warzone 1, you could kill a guy and be like, ah, that's a gold or red or like high tier weapon, and you can see what it is. So you run over and just hit X and pick it up on the way and go back to your gunfight. It also made it easier to see what kind of ammo and grenades were available, so I would know if it was even worth my time to loot the pile. And I admit, the floating isn't realistic, and it does have some flaws, like stuff falling off the edges or getting stuck in objects, but I still prefer it over the bags. The next rumor is that red doors will be coming in later seasons. This is definitely a good thing too, because we're going to need something to spice it up, and I think that red doors were the exact right amount of spice for this dish, being Warzone 1. They were kind of the cinnamon in a bowl of apple oatmeal. I loved going into the red doors, the teleporting aspect of it, getting all the loot. I love that it would kind of spit me out in a different random location, but fully ready to rock and roll. And I feel like the original Warzone operated best with a limited amount of crazy options. It was good that we still had crazy options. The kaijus were fun for a little while. I liked the armored train event. There was Krampus, Juggernauts, a whole bunch of kind of random stuff. And it's all fun in games, but it's only fun in games when it's one of these things at a time. When we have multiple of these kind of crazy ultra power spike things mixing together and too many available Easter eggs on the map, it actually just gets kind of crazy and chaotic. These things are really fun because they were rare. I actually really like the time that they sort of added Juggernaut suits to be picked up in Warzone as an exceptional rarity. 1 out of every 100 games I might get one of those. And I feel that when you oversaturate the game with crazy stuff, it just devolves into chaos. Then our final rumor of the day is that classic Warzone 1 guns are coming back. The AMAX, CR56, MP7, maybe even the MP5 are all rumored to be returning. That doesn't mean they're going to perform the same, though. They're going to have to be balanced, patched, updated. It's going to be running on a different engine. So as much as I want to throw all my love at this because of nostalgia, because I really enjoyed playing with those weapons, I've got to be realistic with the fact that they probably won't quite be the same. At least that's my level of expectation. And I'm still here for it on an emotional level. Though, like, emotionally, you tell me, like, oh, the Growl is coming back? Now I'm excited. Just hearing these names again kind of makes me happy. So if the rumors are true, then I fully support this update. The original Warzone was one of the best times to be a Call of Duty player. It did have an advantage coming out during COVID and sort of utilizing that engine technology first at a time to sort of wow and impress us. But Warzone 1 felt a little bit more like a military shooter and less like a clown fest. And I don't mean just the clown skins like the Terrifier or whatever, but I mean the overall shape and flow of the map. Warzone 1 had deep interior areas for that kind of fighting. And Warzone 1 also had plenty of outside spaces for battles on hills and trees and rocks and in rivers, and it felt very natural. It felt very original PUBG adjacent in a good way. I like the vehicles better in Warzone 1 because they seemed faster and they could jump higher. They did more fun things. They had more fun uses than just immediately dying on them. I feel like the Warzone 1 weapons felt better and more realistic to me than most Call of Duty games. And I think that Warzone 1 had just the right balance of loot, especially around the time we started getting the red doors and some Black Ops stuff and a couple of crazier options. We had just the right amount of loot to kind of cycle through. And the grab and go floating loot helped me enjoy that too, because I could look at a pile, see the thing I want, grab it, and just kind of be on my way. And the biggest one for me is that the movement just felt right. There was still plenty of fast movement in the original Warzone, plenty of fast gunfights, sliding, all sorts of little unique movement tricks that you could do in Warzone 1. But I feel that it stayed in the realm of reality better, whereas Warzone 2, unfortunately, added a lot more sliding and climbing to the point where it started getting silly. And then with the most recent Black Ops 6 updates, you've added Omni movements. So now everybody plays this game like they're on rocket skates. It's kind of turned into Apex Legends, and that's not necessarily what I wanted to play when I boot up Call of Duty. So I genuinely feel that Warzone 1 played better with more people and a slightly slower playstyle than Warzone 2 does now with less players but faster movement. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be streaming Verdansk when it comes out. We're going to put like a retro squad together. I'm going to run some games, try to get a win or two. It should be really fun. I'm overall very excited about this and sort of praying over here that what we don't get is another Area 99 situation where a new update rolls out that's supposed to be fun, but we're just drowning in bugs and non-functional this and that, and this is broken and it's easy to hack because we rolled back the anti-cheat or some kind of crazy nonsense has been going on. I just hope it works. That would be great. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.